All right, guys. So, like I said, obviously, we know that the political temperature is rising and shows no signs of stopping. The left was entirely lying when they said they wanted to dial anything down, anything back. They were just trying to avoid the consequences of their actions. And that's become clear, not just because so many of them celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, but even those that were a little more moderate about that, that knew that they had to say the right thing, put on a good face. They only made it a few weeks before they went right back to demonizing him, this dead man who was shot in front of his children. They don't care, and they're not taking any responsibility. They're not. There's no reflection here. There's not. Oh, how have my actions led us to this position, right? And not only were we not seeing that, we're seeing more and more leftists feel emboldened to come out and dial up their rhetoric. We continue to see people like Ilhan Omar and AOC and Ta-Nehisi Coates say, yeah, no, of course he was a fascist. Now, we would never say he should be shot, but yeah, of course he was. And yeah, you can shoot fascists, but we didn't say directly you could shoot Charlie Kirk. We put like a pause between two sentences that clearly say you can shoot Charlie Kirk. So it's different. See, if we put a little pause, if one guy says you can kill fascists, wait, and then another guy says Charlie Kirk is a fascist. See, technically, no one person said, go kill Charlie Kirk. But they are saying that, right? Like, you have to be like a slack-jawed idiot to believe anything other than the fact that they are very aware of the fact that they are calling for the death of conservatives. And again, we see another conservative commentator, in this case, Benny Johnson, someone who is critical in getting Jimmy Kimmel's original cancellation from ABC. All of a sudden, he's receiving death threats at his house, his wife, his children. Don't forget, in the same line, we had a terrorist attack from a leftist on an ABC news station after several received death threats. And that's why Jimmy Kimmel was put back on the air. Terrorism is working in the United States. And because terrorism is working in the United States, more leftists want to commit acts of terror. And not only is it working, not only are they getting their way and facing very little consequence, but on top of this, the fact that the left is now basically deploying anarcho-tyranny to make sure that there is an inability of federal law enforcement to do their job, to stop illegal immigration, to stop the terror attacks on ICE agents who are trying to stop illegal immigration. We have different Democratic governors and mayors actively trying to stop the government from enforcing the law, saying we will fight back, we will stop you, right? Like those are Civil War words. When a governor of a state, when a mayor of a city who commands a police force or commands other armed officers says, we are going to stop you from doing your job as a federal government by any means necessary, with whatever we have, we're going to organize to stop you. Like, those things get dangerous, right? These are not small words. We're not there yet, but these are dangerous precedents to allow. And in this moment, you have to start asking, how did we get here? Why isn't the Constitution stopping this? Right? And I feel like in many ways, I feel like I'm back during COVID, right? Where I was looking around saying, we shut the churches down. We're throwing people in jail for singing hymns. We're trying to force a dangerous experimental treatment on people. We're closing down businesses. We're allowing people to riot in the streets, and nobody's doing anything. And everyone's acting like it's fine. Everyone's like, well, yeah, sorry. I mean, I know that's important, but like, I gotta watch football. Or like, we got a build pass. Some other, it's really important. Like, no, this is the most important thing in the world right now. And it feels like very few people are taking it very seriously, even though all the evidence is showing that we're heading to a very bad place. And again, much like COVID, you have to ask, why didn't the Constitution prevent this? Why are we in the scenario we are now, where leftists are just committing acts of terror and violence, expecting no penalty, where governors and mayors are just ignoring the immigration laws of the United States, actively working against federal agents to keep violent illegals in the country? I mean, that can't be something that's allowed under the Constitution, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen that at least after 1865, that you don't have that option. I think we kind of had a knockdown drag out on whether or not states had the option to do this. Doesn't matter which side you're on of that issue. Obviously, we have established the precedent that that's just not the case and went to war over it. So obviously, the left can't do it now, except they seem to be, again, with very little cost to them. And so, like I said, I wanted to bring all these aspects of the Constitution together because oftentimes I hear people have to say, like, oh, I hate the Constitution. Auron hates the Constitution. Woke right guy hates the Constitution. And this is, of course, a lie and stupid, but these are the kind of people who make that kind of charge. So no surprise there. I'm not trying to convince them. They don't believe in any facts. It's all just a straw man for them to then go smearing people. But since I don't actually hate the Constitution, I want to explain what the problem is. Did we fail the Constitution? Did the Constitution fail? What happened here? How did we get here? What's going on? Right? So first we need to talk about the nature of constitutions. As I've said before, a lot of people look at the Constitution in a very modern way, a very progressive way, as some kind of incredible Enlightenment piece of political technology. Like before the American Constitution, constitutions didn't really exist. And once they wrote the Constitution, they got it just right. And because they got it just right, because they were so careful about all these different mechanical aspects of ruling the government, basically history was over and government was solved. And we had the final form of government that anyone ever have. And because we have this beautiful system in place, the average person doesn't really need to think much about who's wielding power. Right? We shouldn't talk about power. In fact, that's something, again, these same people who attack me for talking about the Constitution all will say, Auron, you can't talk about power. We don't talk about power. Power is a dirty word. That's for the leftists that keep winning and throwing us in jail and planning to kill us. No, power's for them. Power's not for you. Power's not for us. Our job is to trust the system. The system will take care of it. Now, the founders never said any of that. That is not what the founders believed about constitutions. It's not how they believed governments worked. That's certainly not how they believe power works. And all you have to do is read a Federalist paper to figure that out. And yet, for some reason, people get really self-righteous and pretend like they somehow channeled like the true essence of Madison and Jefferson. And they really know how the government is supposed to be framed, even though that's not what the founders believed at all. And so it's really important for conservatives to just never think about power ever, because then the system will be fine. The Constitution will be safe. Somehow it's just thinking about power itself that like stops the Constitution from doing its magic. But of course, that's not the case, because we don't know there is no neutral institution. You can't just leave the system alone and expect it to run itself. The system is not some autonomous actor that is incredibly objective and operates on some kind of outside unseen matrix that allows it to determine the truth all the time and the equal application all the time, and it can never be sullied by human hands or human desire. That's not true at all. And we all saw this again during something like COVID, where institutions that were supposed to be neutral, like the education system or the medical system or the police or the military or any of these things, it became very clear that actually they're not neutral at all. That every one of these institutions operates on some kind of incentive structure, some kind of morality, some kind of ideology. There's going to be some value system, some ordering of priorities that is going to work behind the scenes in every one of these organizations. And if we just close our eyes to that and say, no, the Constitution's got it, baby, don't got to worry about that, then not only are we being stupid, not only are we ignoring what the founders ourselves told us about the nature of the Constitution, we're also just handing over our responsibility as citizens of a republic, which is what we're supposed to be, right, to a bunch of people who are going to use that power, who are going to crush us with it because they see us as the enemy. They don't see us as fellow citizens. They don't see us as people with whom they share the rule of the country. They see us as, at best, as subjects, and at worst as direct hostile actors to their program. And so if we just say, well, the Constitution's got it, don't worry about it, then we're going to be ruled by truly evil people. And there's no principle that says you must be ruled by evil people in your own nation. That's just not the way it works. If you are part of the nation, if you are someone who has a valid claim on the nation, then you shouldn't have to be ruled by people who hate your nation and are trying to destroy it.